Welcome back to another episode of the Nursing Now podcast. I'm your host, Janelle McSwiggan, and I am here with Lacey Hess, the owner of Lacey's Lullabies. Lacey, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Lacey, can you tell us more about Lacey's Lullabies, your services, and anything else you want to chat about?
Yeah, of course. So, Lacey's Lullabies is a pediatric sleep consulting business that I started a little over a year ago. I guess it's more of a year and a half now. And I kind of started it more as a side hustle to my nursing career, but I absolutely love it. And so, what I do is work with parents one-on-one, and it's all virtual, so they can pretty much live anywhere. So I work with parents one-on-one that are struggling with their child's sleep. So if they're having like multiple overnight wakings, multiple tantrums at bedtime to where bedtime's taking hours for them to go to sleep, and then they wake up again in the middle of the night trying to get in bed with them. It depends, like every family has different struggles, but if they're struggling at bedtime and they are losing tons of sleep because of it, that's where I come in and I help them to navigate that and bring sleep back to their home. And it's so rewarding, and I love seeing the parents' confidence build throughout the process.
And I bet they are
Um,
so happy to hear from you. Keep going.
yeah. No, I mean, and then just a little about my background, if you want me to go into that right now.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So I've been a nurse for 14 and a half years. I started in the emergency room, and that's really most of my bedside background is ER nursing, and I truly love ER nursing. I also just got really burnt out with it. I dabbled a little bit in management and a little bit in ICU. I, in 2019, decided to go back for my master's in nursing education, and then had my son shortly after. So I never really did much with my master's in education, even though that's what I really wanted to do is teach. So this side hustle kind of gives me that opportunity to do that teaching. It may not be with nurses, but it's with parents. And becoming a parent, like that's really exciting for me to help other parents navigate those sleep struggles in their life. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's such an exciting time for most parents. My specialty was a pediatric special needs nurse, and to watch the parents grow from being unsure parents of preschoolers with special needs to advocating strongly for 22-year-old special needs adults as they transition into adult services was so rewarding. But I definitely understand the trepidation new parents have. So I can definitely see how helping like exhausted parents like teach their children sleeping habits could be a really fun thing to get into.
Absolutely. It was a game changer for me. Like having kids that I could count on to sleep throughout the night was a game changer for me, especially after my second. I had two under two, and just being able to rely on that sleep was a huge game changer for me.
So how did you make the transition from your current role to a certified pediatric sleep consultant? Was it hard? Were there any notable like hurdles? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Yes, it's hard, but at the same time, I really love it. Like it's energizing for me. It's new, it's exciting, and I really love doing it. So yes, it's hard because I don't really know it as well as I know nursing, because that's what I've been doing for the last 14 and a half years. Um, but it's still really exciting for me. Um, I do still work full time in my stroke position, and I'm very fortunate for it to be a very flexible job, which is one reason that I stayed there, because I have a family and that flexibility is really helpful for my family. And it's a great job to have. But so incorporating the sleep consulting job within it um, it wasn't easy, but at least I had that flexibility to go with. Um, but I started listening to like side hustles and came across Center for Pediatric Sleep Management is the name of the course that I took. So it's a course that I took for pediatric sleep consultants to get certified. You don't technically have to be certified to be a pediatric sleep consultant, but I think it kind of gives you some credibility to know that you got certified through a program specifically for sleep consultants. So if anybody is interested in becoming a sleep consultant, I would highly recommend this course. It like kind of deep dives into everything pediatric sleep related. And then it's constantly getting updated with more education, which I always love that. But what kind of makes this program stand out a little bit was just that it does help you kind of start your business too. It gives you the tools to like, this is what you need to do to start like your LLC, or how do you create a business name, things to consider. Like, I don't know, it goes into a whole lot more detail than that. But it does help you to kind of navigate the beginning stages of starting your business, which as a nurse, like I know nothing about. So that part was really helpful. But the biggest challenges for me are like marketing myself, and sales, and like everything that nursing is not. Like that part is hard for me. Like just getting the word out about like what I do, because when I heard about sleep consulting, even though I had 2 kids at the time, I had never even heard of a sleep consultant before. Like I never knew it was a thing, even though I had 2 kids of my own. But I knew how valuable sleep was. And I knew that if I didn't know about sleep consulting, like I knew there were tons of parents who really needed some help, didn't know it existed either. And so I really wanted to be somebody that could help those people. But getting, the word, like the word out about what you do, was hard for me. And it still is. So it's still a work in progress. But when you do finally find these clients, the people you can help, then they just help you spread the word. So it gets a little easier over time, but word of mouth definitely goes a long way.
Yes, I've heard from time and time again that marketing is the hardest part for nurses. I think that we're just used to kind of being a little bit humble with our skills at the bedside. Like we're not like, we're the best, look at us, pick us as a nurse. Like we just get in there and do it and move on. So when we have a business to sell, it feels weird because we're not in sales, we're in service. So it's a totally
Yeah.
different thing to wrap your mind around. I also want to circle back. I love something that you said earlier. You said that you're still at your current job because it provides you with flexibility and you have a family. So it also
Mm-hmm.
provides you with a sense of stability. I think that is so fabulous that you said that, because a lot of people measure success when they've left the bedside. And I help nurses transition like away from the bedside and become writers. And I tell them all the time, stay at the bedside until you are so comfortable. Staying at the bedside while having a side hustle and scaling it up allows you to take risks that you might not have taken if you were just depending on your side hustle or business capital. So, and those risks can pay off. They can be fun risks. And it's a lot less stressful. If you're just relying on your business, it kind of takes the fun out of it because you're just trying to do it to survive. And you feel like you're walking this tightrope and like one fall, like one wrong move and you can fall off of it. So the bedside is there to really be your safety net. So I always tell people there is absolutely no shame in keeping a flexible, stable job and then building your side income off of that. And also, who doesn't love more money, especially when you're not super stressed? So thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah.
Also love that you said that you saw a need and then acted on it. I think nurses know that they want to start a business, not quite sure what type of business. They know they're unhappy. And I always have them reflect on their surroundings. What do you see around you that might be a business venture? I was just talking to a nurse today, and she's so funny. She was like, I love picking lice out of people's heads. And I was like, you go, girl. I hate that. Like, you go,
Yeah.
queen. And she's like, I might
There's
start
so
like,
many parents that would hire her to do that.
yes, that's what she said. She was like, I might start a business off of that. And I was like, you should. You absolutely should. And she used to be an elementary school nurse. So I was like, you can totally like market to the parents that you already know in your community. Like, no one wants to do that. You should definitely do that.
Definitely.
And yeah, and I haven't even thought of that idea yet. Like I've never even heard of that idea. So just
Hmm.
goes to show you that if you can just kind of like reflect on like what you like to do, where there's a need around you, you can make a profit and a business that you really love doing. I don't think mine would be
Oh,
lice
absolutely.
picking, but who knows?
Not for me either. But I would totally have asked her to help me.
I know, I know. Um, so so I was looking at your resources earlier, and you have like individual sleep plans. You have one-to-one virtual support. You provide people with like a nap schedule as needed based on your child's age, and like a predictable daytime, nighttime routine. I'm just highlighting all this because I think a lot of people don't quite know what a certified pediatric sleep consultant actually does, like some of the tasks. Are there any other big tasks that I'm missing that someone might want to hear to understand if this might be a role that they're interested in?
Yeah. So basically what it looks like. So if someone does want to work with me, like one-on-one, it's going to be me talking to them about what their current sleep struggles are so that I have a general idea of, okay, like what's really going on? Is this something that I can actually help them with? Or do I think I need, like, does a physician actually need to like look at something that could be going on? Is this like a speech therapy issue? Like there's other things that could be altering sleep. But if the baby is completely healthy, it could just definitely be behavioral, which is what I focus on, is behavioral sleep issues. So that's what that first consultation is. And then if we decide, yes, we're a good fit, then I send them a questionnaire. And basically I take a deep dive into like their specific sleep struggles. Like what schedule are they currently on? Do they even have a schedule? Do they have a nighttime routine? How often are you feeding them? Like it's very detailed, but it helps me so much to gather like what's really going on in their home. And then based on whatever they send me, I create a sleep plan for them. And it goes into safe sleep, to make sure that whatever sleep practices they're currently following, that it is safe for their child, because that is number one, especially to a nurse. And then it goes into bedtime routines, nap time routines, their current schedule. So like any infant that, nutrition, so it's going to be like breastfeeding, bottle feeding for the first year of life, right? Some families don't even have one. So just getting them on a schedule really makes a significant difference. And so then we'll go into routine schedules, and then we'll go into the sleep training process, which is basically teaching your child how to fall asleep independently, fall asleep on their own without relying on you to either feed them, rock them, hold them, lay with them if they're toddlers. So there's different ways to approach this. I think whenever you say sleep training, sometimes parents just automatically think the worst, like it's just cry it out for hours and hours and you're not assisting your baby ever. But there are so many different ways to approach sleep training, to where you can be very present or you can be intermittently present. So you kind of just navigate it based on whatever you're comfortable with, and we find a way to establish those independent sleep habits in a way that you're comfortable with. And so I work with them either 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on how old the child is or their current struggles. And I'll work with them and check in on them at least very minimum twice. Like the minimum amount is twice a day, one in the morning and one in the evening. But then if they're home with the child throughout the day, I'll troubleshoot naps with them as well. And we do this for 2 weeks. And by the end of it, everybody is sleeping through the night and has a better routine. And the last 2 to 3 days, it's more me asking them questions like, what are you going to do? Like, so that we can set them up for success, so that when I'm not there to tell them, they understand what they should be doing and they get to practice it a little bit. But that's in summary what I do with my one-on-one client.
I love how individualized it is, and I love how far research has come in this area. And it's absolutely fascinating to me that it can be done in 2 weeks too. There's so many parents that struggle and they just don't understand that the support is out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so many parents struggle in different areas as well to not just sleep. So to even have this like off their shoulders must just be such a huge thing to them, because then they can sleep, they can worry or not worry, they can focus on other things for their lives, their babies' lives. So yeah, such a huge service you're providing here. Once again, such a service that I didn't even know existed.
Yep.
So what other like tasks are you doing as like a business owner? I think some people, I know I didn't understand what went into a business. I didn't know that I would be sending like invoices and doing all the back end stuff. So, what other tasks were you kind of surprised about?
Yeah. So when I first started my business, I really spent a lot of time on, I built my own website because I really wanted to learn about it. I didn't want someone to just do it all for me and then me not be able to change anything or know how to do it. So I very much just learned how to create a website. It wasn't perfect and it's still like changing every now and then. And then also creating like lead forms, free resources for people just so that they can see what I could potentially offer them. And if they feel like this is helpful, great. That's my goal, is to help families. But if they feel like, I really just need that one-on-one support, at least they'll know who they can turn to, right? That, and then also I do have like a project management tool that helps me with like delivering those lead forms when someone actually fills out that. I recently developed an email subscription, which I never thought in my life I would ever do. And I did that. I created a blog post starting like last September. So I really enjoy that too. And then social media is just mind blowing to me, because that was definitely something I had to learn too. I've always had like Instagram and LinkedIn, but and Facebook. I've had these things, but I've never really done anything with them. They've always just kind of been there for me to like, post pictures of my kids to my friends. But there's so much more to it. And in the last year and a half, I've learned so much about it. So that like social media posts and things like that are part of my daily routine, I guess. And so that's been a learning curve for me, but I do enjoy like the engagement and meeting people. And then one big thing is networking. So just getting out there and meeting people is so helpful. And I only know a small amount so far.
I know, but it's so cool to watch how you grow as a person. I'm also someone that built her own website, and I barely know how to fix my own Wi-Fi. So the fact that I built my own website is huge. And I naturally don't like social media. My personal social media isn't tagged to my name. Like you won't be able to search like Janelle McSwiggan on social media and find my personal social media, because I'm like, don't look at me. Like I don't like this. So I really, really had to go outside of myself to become an online person and like be okay with, I don't know, like
Mhm.
showcasing my personality and my business. I'm okay with networking because I don't know, that's kind of just like chatting up with people and I'm fine with that. But I guess like showing people myself on social media is like weirder to me, especially Instagram felt
Mhm.
so odd. So I'm definitely like pushing myself out there this year. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into owning a business besides just consulting with patients like you do or writing like I do. But it really like throws you out there and shows that you can tackle uncomfortable situations and that you can grow as a person. And that if you
Mhm.
keep your bedside job, you can take some of these like networking skills and the ability to prioritize and the ability to figure out like tech issues and bring it back to the bedside if you choose to stay there too. So there is something really beautiful and terrifying about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Like I was with you on the videos, like making a video and putting it on social media was such a big thing to me. And now that I've done it for almost, I'm going on a year now. Like it's so much easier now. But you just gotta do it.
Yeah, video is so huge. It's so annoyingly huge. Like I'm like, oh,
I know.
stop being so popular. I don't want to do
I
this, but
know.
I have to do it. So
I know.
yeah. But you're right. Practice does make perfect. I am getting better at just like winging it.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm getting better
it
at
gets
that.
easier.
It does. So for nurses who are listening and are interested about pediatric sleep consulting, who might enjoy this role? Are there any certain personality types? Are there certain bedside experiences that may be more beneficial than other bedside experiences? Can you talk about that?
Um, I don't really think any specific bedside experiences would necessarily put you at an advantage. I like my roles in my bedside experiences were not strictly pediatrics. I wasn't like an L&D. Like I was literally an ER nurse at like level one traumas. I wasn't dealing with kids a lot. Like I specifically put myself in those situations to deal with kids just so I would know what I should be doing, but that wasn't like what I focused on. So really, like if you're in any type of field, I think that if you're a parent and have like experienced this like I have, to where like that sleep really does make a significant difference and you're passionate about helping people, I think this would be a really great role for you. I really enjoy education. I got my master's in it because I really like enjoy teaching people and watching them grow and learn. So if you're into education and really like that, I think this would be a great role for you, because that's what you're doing. You're helping parents and you're watching them grow and learn and build their confidence, just like you would with a nursing student or a new hire at your facility. So I think education and then really like background. If you're just interested in sleep and helping people, I think you'd be a great fit.
That's exciting to hear that it's not a particular bedside role. I get a little bit discouraged when certain businesses are geared mainly towards acute care nurses or a certain niche, because I feel like public health nurses and other nurses that aren't working specifically in a hospital are kind of left out of that. So I love that there isn't a specific type of bedside experience and it really is passion that's driving this, which is the same thing with writing actually. The bedside experience doesn't matter. You just have to be able to string a set of words together, and you can pretty much be a writer. So that's really encouraging to hear, and I know that a lot of viewers and listeners will take that to heart. So, um, so we talked about how you got started as a certified pediatric sleep consultant. You took a course, and you mentioned the course and how helpful it was. What were some of the other first steps? Like for me, I think I wrestled with a website, and looking back, I personally don't need a website for my business, but that's what I did. I
Yeah.
wrestled very hard with that thing. And I made an email that was more professional than the one I made in high school, which is what I used to sign up for like coupons at Michael's. And then maybe the third one was I made a LinkedIn. Like those were my first three steps. Can you say some of your first steps?
I feel like a lot of mine were very similar to yours, um, in the sense of like the website. Like I spent a lot of time on my website, but I really wanted one. Like I wanted in my mind, I was like, I really want a place for people to go to like see what I do. I don't think that it's necessary though. Like I don't think you have to like when you're first starting out, I really think like networking with other people and like just getting your business out there is probably the best way to go. Like I wouldn't just deep dive into website. Like you don't have to do that. I did that. I'm glad I did because now it's done, but I don't think it's like it's not a necessary have to step to be able to grow your business. And then social media, I'm glad I did social media. I don't think that that was an unnecessary step. I think picking one platform would be great. I was surprised about LinkedIn. Like I had never even thought of it as a social media platform, but it is a really engaging platform and it's a really quick way to like grow an audience and grow a network of people that can help you to grow your business. I did join like a women in business like group over in my area to where it's like more women in business. So it's like-minded people that are gonna like help you grow and like they've been in business for a while. So just find people that are gonna encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and help spread the word about what you do. But you don't have to get so in detail about everything like social media and building websites. It's really about connections and them spreading the word about you.
So well said. I think if I could do it over, I would spend less time on my website and more time on social
Mhm.
media, actually. But I will say my website is so freaking cute and I love it. So I don't regret having one. But I don't get that many like leads through my website. I also really like that you said focusing on one platform. I heard that advice as well when I first started, and I'm happy that I did that because it really taught me how to focus in on my personal brand, my tone, read my analytics, and figure out the vibe of a single platform instead of maybe chaotically doing a million things at once and not really leveling up on that single platform. And because I focused on LinkedIn, I became like a top voice on LinkedIn, and that's opened a lot of doors for me, surprisingly. And I was also surprised on LinkedIn. I didn't expect it to be such a social media thing, right?
I
Like,
didn't either.
but it's super fun on there. The nurses on there are so fabulous, so kind. I haven't met a mean nurse on there, and I talk to nurses on there like all the time.
Yeah.
And it's great if you're a nurse that's trying to think about growing a business, interested in a business because it's a business platform. So,
Hmm.
like, you have ideas all around you, especially from people that have been doing it for a little bit longer than you. I like having a mix of people in my feed that are like a year ahead of me and then like 5 years ahead of me because it
Hmm.
helps me show like where I can go. But some of those people that are 5 years ahead of me, they don't remember when they were like in my shoes. So it helps to
Right.
have like a mix of people and just to like interact with the platform and just really try and grow there. Because like I said, I didn't know that doors were going to open when I got my top voice badge, but it really has opened a lot of funny doors from there. And then
Thank
once
you.
you understand that platform, then you can branch out. So I think it's so important to kind of like niche down. I totally agree with you there. You said that you joined women in business, like some type of group in that. I
Yeah.
have like a nurses that own their own business, like a little collaborative group. And I love
Yeah.
it. We're like in a little WhatsApp group and it's super wholesome. And we're just always like bouncing ideas off of each other. And some of them are wildly successful. It's actually crazy that I'm in that group with them. But it's fun to see where they're going. And I ask them
Mhm.
questions all the time. So just to be able to surround yourself in not necessarily your peers, because I think some of them are far above me, but with people that have the same ideas and to hear their conversations and ideas and to have that kind of resonate with you and your business model, or even to understand what a business model is
Yeah.
super beneficial. So thank you. You brought up a lot of really good points there.
Totally agree.
Um, so do you have any advice for nurses listening out there wanting to do something similar, either become certified pediatric sleep consultants or start their own business, anything like that?
I mean, I think if you find something that you're just passionate about, or just it piques your interest and you're just curious about it, then just go learn all you can about it and see if it's really something you would want to do. And if you're like, yeah, I think I could really be really great at this, but I just don't know where to start, like don't let it hold you back. Like find a way to start it and just do it. Like you're gonna get uncomfortable and that's okay. Like you got to get out of your comfort zone to learn and grow. So don't be scared to do it and just do it. Ask a bunch of questions to people that have already done it and find a way to make it happen. That's all I
I
got.
think I think passion is definitely everything. I always when I first started out too, I would have this mentality of me like not taking it that seriously. Like obviously I was taking it seriously. I loved my business, but the second it became this super daunting business model, I just, would start to get burnt out. So I was like super loosey goosey with it. And I had like this mindset shift of like, this is my fun job. My bedside is my tyranny job. And this is my fun Janelle job. So like also just having that mindset shift of like, you're a business owner. You don't have to be like the super corporate business owner. You can be like a fun business owner. Like you can carve your own path, whatever that path is. If it's long and winding, it doesn't matter as long as you're passionate about it, you're happy about it. Happiness looks different for different people. So that really helped me like when I was getting started.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I always say like I'm a silly little goose that owns a business and I'm just out here having fun. And I happen to find success along the way, which was really cool.
Yes, like keep it fun. It's like what I do to just expand my knowledge and just learn. And I love it so much.
Okay, Lacey, do you have any parting words for my listeners?
Um, just do it. Just get it done. If you want it done, then do it and make it fun. That's it.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. I absolutely agree. Lacey Hess, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing a niche that I had no idea existed, but once again has such a need in the world. I can tell that your patients are so supported by you and that you really are making a difference. And it's enlightening to see a nurse that's carving her own path away from the traditional healthcare role. So thank you so much for sharing everything that you talked about today.
Thank you, Janelle. This was really fun.
Okay, this has been your Nursing Minute.